me another 5 minutes. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's get started seated. And you can move all your props off to the side for the moment. And so take your hands before you completely come down into a seated meditation and slide them underneath you and just rock side to side so you can feel your sitting bones underneath you. And then once you feel grounded, slide your hands on top of your knees or in your lap. Let's just do a few shoulder rolls. So slide your shoulders up by your earlobes and down your back. And do that a couple of times, opening up through our front body. And then just go the opposite direction. Roll your shoulders forward and down. And just soften the tops of your shoulders and relax. And allow your attention to rest in the space behind your eyes. Take a few slow breaths here. Draw your shoulders back. Shoulder blades draw back, heart pulls forward. And just relax. Relax the muscles around your throat, your chest and belly. And even though your body is relaxed, continue to sit up tall. So anchor your sitting bones down and lengthen through your spine until you feel the crown of your head up, pushing up towards the space above you. We'll be here for just a few moments in stillness, breathing. Notice the edges of your body starting to relax. And see if you can maintain that slow and quiet quality of the breath. And start to draw your hands together in front of your heart in a light prayer shape, meaning you don't have to press your palms forcefully together. Just allow them to touch and then bring your thumbs in towards your sternum. So we're going to start with a little moving meditation this morning. And so keep your hands in prayer and blink your eyes open. And so from here, we're going to do this arm movement, and I'll show you from the side view. Most of us have done this together before, but if you're new, it's going to look like this. The inhale, you draw your hands up above the crown of your head, that light prayer. And as you exhale, you're going to draw your hands together in front of your heart, but then keep going. And once your hands can no longer stay together, you're going to push your hands forward, almost like a triangle shape, forward in front of your navel. And then inhale, draws it back up, lift up through the crown of your head. Maybe you gaze up towards the base of your wrists. And then exhale, draw your hands down, and then push the triangle of your hands forward. So let's do this a couple of times, and now you can soften your gaze or close your eyes as you do this. And as you flow through this moving meditation, perhaps you can sit up a little bit taller as your arms lift. And then exhale, imagine that you're just pushing breath in front of you as your palms push forward. So let's do 3 more like this. And 1 more. And now just blink open your eyes as you push the palms of your hand forward. Just reach forward until you feel like you're going to tip forward and then lower your finger pads down. Keep going, keep walking them forward to the top edge of your mat. And then soften your palms, your forearms and elbows come down. And then bow your head forward. Chin tucks lightly in towards your chest. Take a few rounds of breath here in a seated forward fold. Take your time to slowly roll up. So draw your navel in towards your spine as you slowly roll up, stack your spine. Lean back and just change the cross of your legs. Okay, we're gonna do a few last seated things, warming up our neck and our jaw. So sit up tall. Okay, and then just draw your right ear towards your right shoulder. I'm mirroring you here. And continue to draw the top of your left shoulder down. Feel like there was a weight on it, and then breathe into the left side of your neck. Lift the crown of your head up, and then just switch. Left ear towards left shoulder. And as you draw the crown of your head up, just start to tick-tock your head from side to side. So go slow, move from right to left a few times. Warming up. Okay, so the next time your right ear draws towards your right shoulder, I'd like you to pause. You can blink open your eyes, and we're gonna do a little bit of a jaw release. So unclench your teeth, and you're gonna bring your chin forward and the crown of your head back. So almost like you were jutting your chin forward, but your head is still tilted over to the right. Okay, so this is gonna seem a little bit strange, but I want you to unhinge your jaw. And then bring your bottom jaw towards your top jaw, so your teeth touch. And then unhinge your jaw. And then bottom jaw to your top jaw. This is the one exercise that's almost impossible to talk your way through. You should feel this all along, the muscles that control the clenching of your jaw. Okay, so now relax your jaw, and you're gonna draw your chin towards the notch in between your collarbones. Bow your head forward. And pause here, sit up tall, lengthen through the back of your neck. Take your hands and interlace your fingers behind the back of your head. Gently place a little bit of weight in your palms against the back of your head. Don't force anything, and then start to round your elbows forward. So we're keeping our spine long and just simply bowing your head. Breathe into the back of your neck. If you feel any tightness here or clenching, just try to breathe into those spaces. Release the back of your head. Just place your hands into your lap, and then now left ear towards left shoulder, but then keep going. Keep swiveling the back of your head back and your chin forward. And we're gonna do that same thing. Unhinge the jaw, and then bring bottom jaw to top. And do that a couple of times. So it's just a gentle release along the side of our jaw. Okay, relax the jaw, chin tucks in. Once again, last round. Gaze forward, chin level with the earth, and then really slowly just start to look and peer towards your right shoulder and then towards your left shoulder, like you were looking before you crossed the street, but really slowly. Keep softening the tops of your shoulders as you gaze from right to left. Okay, gaze forward, place your hands in front of your shins, roll over your shins and come to a hands and knees position or tabletop. And so if you're in the same room as me, you have a blanket there if you'd like to pad your knees in tabletop since we're on a hardwood surface. If you're at home and you have a carpeted surface, you might be okay. Spread through your fingers and press down into all four corners of each hand, wrists underneath your shoulders. Beautiful. And then from here, before we move, tuck all 10 of your toes, thigh bones perpendicular to the earth. Draw your navel in. Inhale, tip your sitting bones up. Soften your belly and pull your heart forward. Gaze forward. Exhale, round through your spine. Lift through the back of your heart and gaze behind you. And keep going. So we just did all of those neck releases. So feel like you're really pulling your chin forward on the inhale. And then exhale, tuck your chin in towards your chest and gaze in between your thighs. And we'll do this a few rounds and notice that the crown of your head and your tailbone mimic one another. The exhale, they draw down. And do 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. On your next inhale, come into a neutral tabletop. Bring your knees and toes together and untuck your toes. And I'm going to give you an options. So if your knees feel a little bit sensitive and you don't like to sit up onto your shins like in Vajrasana, I'd like you just to come into a Sukhasana, just an easy seat, okay? You can, of course, pad your knees. So just make any adjustments that you need to. If you're sitting up on your shins, just lift yourself up and make sure that they're padded, okay? We're gonna just do a few side bends. And again, it doesn't make any difference the way your legs are. We're just gonna transition into a shape here in a moment. So right fingertips down by your side, good. Then sweep your left arm up and overhead. And then anchor your sitting bones down and then rotate your torso, gaze underneath your upper arm. Press down into your right finger pads. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, gaze forward and then bring your left arm forward. The palm faces up. And then just feel like your pinky could gather in towards your navel and then switch. Left finger pads down and sweep your right arm up and overhead. And pause here for this first round. Gaze underneath your upper arm. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, same thing. Right arm this time folds forward. And then the palm faces up. So now let's flow. Inhale, tip over to your right. And then exhale, switch sides. So it's this big cascading motion of the arms. Okay, so now pause in either a Sukhasana, an easy seat, or a Vajrasana. So I'm just gonna show you what we're gonna do. You can of course stay seated, okay? So I'm just gonna show you where we're gonna go. If you're in Vajrasana, I'd like you just to sit up and tuck your toes, almost like you were coming into toes pose, okay? So draw your navel in towards your spine and sit up tall. Bring your hands to prayer and pad your knees if you think you need to. Just watch this first round. As you inhale, you're gonna press into the balls of your feet. Lift your arms up and then lift your seat up. And then exhale, bring your seat towards your heels and then push the triangle of your hands forward. You can do this seated as well. It's the same pattern. Okay, so let's see if we can flow. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, push forward. I think I did that reverse, sorry. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, now lift your seat and then push through. Yeah, I'd like us to do this. Inhale, lower your seat towards your heels as you raise your arms up. And then exhale, push. Good, navel draws in. Do this 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Okay, now as you lower your seat down, raise your arms up. And then exhale, plant your hands on top of your thighs. Untuck your toes. Okay, and so let's all come into Vajrasana, even if you were in Sukhasana. And then squish your heels in towards your glutes. Pad your knees if you think you need to. And then walk your hands forward. Okay, take your hand onto your belly and I want you to feel like you were just like lifting your belly and then placing it on the top of your thighs. Look forward in between your thumbs and then soften your forearms and elbows down. From here, tuck your chin in towards your chest and bow forward. Release the back of your neck. If you feel like you can maintain this length on your spine, you can keep going, keep walking your hands forward. So prioritize bringing your seat towards your heels as opposed to collapsing your whole chest down in child's pose. Good. Breathe into the back of your neck. You're doing great. And take your time. Press yourself up. Okay. So come into a kneeling position, or let's start in tabletop. Tuck your toes, and I want you to pad your knees if you're on a hardwood surface, and then come onto your knees. We will be here for just a moment, and I want you to face the mirror side of the room, or whatever side of the room that you're on. So this way. Yeah, exactly. Okay. If you're at home, just make sure that you have enough space to your left. Extend your left leg out to the left. And again, pad your right knee if you think you need to. And then left toes pointing forward in the same direction that you're looking. Left hand slides down the outside of your left leg and sweep your right arm up and overhead. So we're in this traditional gate shape. Press forward and to the left with your right finger pads. Rotate your torso and gaze underneath your upper arm. And those of you behind the screen, I'll just turn so you can see. One more inhale here. And stay for the exhale. Inhale, come up. Gaze towards your right hip. And then lower your right hand down. Keep your legs as they are. And then sweep your left arm up and overhead. See if you can stare at your left thumb. Press firmly into all four corners of your right hand. Spread through your fingers. Okay, so now from here, gaze down at your right hand. I'd like you to walk or crawl your right hand out away from you, maybe 2 inches, and then shift your weight towards your right shoulder. So shift your shoulder over your wrist. You'll notice you're gonna come onto the ball of your left foot here. Gaze forward, or gaze, there you go. And then see if you can use the strength of your left hip, and can you pick up your left foot so it's level with your hip? Good, and then tap your toe down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more. Good. And then lower both palms down, return to a tabletop position. Good. And sway your hips from side to side. A little warming up of the hips, a precursor of what will come later on. Come back into that kneeling position. And this time you're going to extend your right leg out to the right. I'm just going to do that same sequence on the other side. So keep facing this way. Yeah. Good. Right hand slides down your leg and sweep your left arm up and overhead. Take a side bend. Engage. Yeah. And if you're in the same room as me, just see if you can reach towards me, towards my voice with your left hand. Good. Rotate your torso and gaze underneath your upper arm. Good. One more inhale. And stay for the exhale. Inhale, come up, gaze to your left, and place your left hand down. Sweep your right arm up and overhead. Yeah, modified side plank. Beautiful. And see if you can stretch up by your right fingernails. Gaze towards your right thumb. Hips stacked. Breathe here. Good. Gaze down at your left hand. Scoot it away from you just so you have a little bit more space. Shift your left shoulder over your wrist. You're going to notice you're going to come onto the ball of your right foot. Inhale, lift. It can even be lift 1 inch. And then exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Good. Exhale, lower. One more. Beautiful. And then return back into a tabletop position. And take your time, no rush. Sway your hips from side to side. And actually, let's do that a little bit more deliberately. So coming into tabletop, push your hips out to your right and really push them out. Like you can make a little stamp of your right hip against the wall. And then draw your hips to center and then to the left. Push your hips to the left. And then keep going, go from one side to the other. Oftentimes when I cue like a little hip sway, we don't get as deep as when I kind of forcefully encourage you to push. Beautiful. Return to a tabletop position and face the front of the room. Okay. Walk your hands forward, a handprint. Step your left foot back and then your right for a plank position, top of a push-up. Push your heels back and the crown of your head forward. Draw your navel in. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bend your knees, let them skim the earth, and then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, you can pedal your feet by bending one knee and lowering the opposite heel. And then switching, you might feel like you were drawing your thigh in towards your belly. Breathe into the backs of your legs, your calves. And then pause in a downward facing dog. Look at the space behind your heels for another round of breath. On your next inhale, gaze forward between your thumbs. And as you exhale, tiptoe your way towards the top of your mat space for a forward fold. Feet hips width distance apart. That's 2 fists next to one another. Bend your knees. Let your belly rest on your thighs and then hinge forward. Use the leverage of pressing your feet down to lift your hips up and stare at the space behind you. Relax the back of your neck. Take a few slow breaths here in an Uttanasana, a standing forward fold. And so from here, keep your knees slightly bent and your feet planted. Scoop your belly in and then slowly roll all the way up. Navel draws in. Take 2 to 3 rounds of breath to do this. And once your torso is vertical, roll your shoulders up towards your ears and down your back. The palms face forward. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Palms to touch. Then exhale, bend your knees and pour your weight forward. Fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands on shins or thighs, gaze forward. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms down and step back to a downward facing dog. And set yourself up in downward facing dog so your feet are about hips width distance apart. Inhale, wave your body forward to a plank position, top of a push-up. And as you exhale, you're gonna lower onto your belly. You can always lower your knees down or hug your elbows in and land down onto your belly. Untuck your toes. Gaze forward. And now you're gonna walk your elbows underneath your shoulders. Like this. Extend through your forearms. So the forearms make the number 11 and your palms will face down. Push your pelvis down, palms down, and then start to roll your belly forward. Heart draws forward for Sphinx Asana. Beautiful. Just breathe here. Keep pressing the tops of your feet down. And it might feel good just to do a few neck rolls. Unclench your teeth and then go the opposite direction. And gaze forward. Lower onto your chest and chin. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders and tuck your toes. Press up through hands and knees or plank. Then exhale, bend your knees, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Great. Inhale, gaze forward. And exhale, slowly make your way to the top of your space for a forward fold. Okay, so from here, step your left foot back behind you and then lower your back knee, your left knee onto a blanket or your mat space. If you're on a hardwood surface, I recommend the blanket. Keep your left toes tucked. Okay. Your right hand is going to come on the top of your right thigh. I'm going to do this from the side so that you can all see me. Okay, so use this as leverage. Press your palm into your thigh and then come up. Good, and settle yourself in. Look at your right knee, make sure it's not going beyond the ankle, maybe a little bit behind, and then sweep your left arm up and overhead. Good, take a deep breath in, palm faces in, and then exhale, slowly wave your arm forward and down. Maybe you can touch the inside of your right foot or maybe not. Inhale, draw your arm back up, and then exhale, lower it down. One more, inhale. And exhale, breathe into the outside of your right hip. Inhale, lift up. Pause. Take your right hand to meet your left. Clasp around your left wrist. Lift up and tip over to your right. Good. Breathe into your left psoas, the outside of your left hip and left side body. Inhale, release the clasp of your wrist. Lift up. Exhale, plant your palms to face your right foot. Pick up your back knee just so you can step it forward. And you can always step it forward in a couple of steps and shake out your legs. Good. When you're ready, step your right foot back behind you. Lower your right knee. We'll do this on the other side. Okay. And again, right toes stay tucked for stability, just because we're doing a little bit of balancing. Left hand on the top of your left thigh. Gaze forward, draw your navel in and push into your thigh to come up. You're gonna breathe, you're gonna feel this all along your right psoas, and then sweep your right arm up and overhead. Palm faces in. Inhale here. Then exhale, wave your right arm down, hinge forward slightly, and maybe you can graze the ground. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, lower. You're doing great. One more. Just imagine that this left hand were there for stability. Inhale, lift. And then now clasp around your right wrist, lift up, and then tip over to the left slightly, maybe an inch or two. Just enough so that you can feel this all along the outside of your right hip and psoas. Inhale, lift. Release the clasp of your wrist. Exhale, lower. Frame your left foot. Lift up your right knee and step forward. Shake out your legs. So tap the backs of your knees in the space behind you. Beautiful. And then let's do that same exact sequence. We're going to add on. Step your left foot back. But this time, you're going to lower your left heel down. So it's as if you were coming into a warrior one shape, and this is for stability. Take your right palm against the top of your right thigh and sweep your left arm up. Good. And again, use this palm against your thigh as leverage. Left leg completely straight. Inhale here. And then exhale, wave your left arm down. Most likely it won't touch the earth, and that's okay. Inhale, use the strength of your right leg. Lift up. And then exhale, slowly lower it towards the earth. One more. Inhale. And then this time as you exhale, wave your left arm down and then keep going. Wave your right arm behind you as if you were coming into an airplane shape. Interlace your fingers behind you. Roll your shoulders back and start to straighten your arms. Gaze forward. Take a deep breath in. Then exhale, maybe keep going. Hinge forward inside your right leg for a humble warrior shape. Keep wrapping your shoulder blades towards your spine. Unclench your jaw and breathe here. Press into your feet, lift up, release the clasp of your hands, come into a traditional warrior one shape. Exhale, plant your palms to frame your right foot. Pick up your left heel and step forward. And shake out your legs. Beautiful. Step your right foot back. Lower the back heel. And then just situate yourself here momentarily. Right leg straight, left knee bent, gaze forward. Left hand on the top of your left thigh. And then sweep your right arm up. Good. And then 3 rounds here. The palm faces in. Inhale. Exhale, wave your right arm forward and down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. One more. Inhale. And this time as you sweep your right arm forward, keep going. Sweep it back. Good. Extend your left arm back. Good. Interlace your fingers behind you. Roll your shoulders back. Straighten the arms. Gaze forward. And then exhale. Keep going. Hinge forward. Humble warrior. Breathe here. Press into your feet. Lift up. Sweep both arms up and overhead for a warrior one. Exhale. Plant your palms to frame your left foot. Pick up your right heel. Now listen carefully. You're going to step your left foot back to meet your right for a downward facing dog. Adjust your feet so they're about hips width distance apart. Inhale, wave your body forward to a plank position, top of a push-up. Exhale, lower down. Of course, lower your knees down if you'd like. Untuck your toes. Slide your elbows underneath and come into that Sphinx Asana. Okay, so now from here, we're gonna do this action. It's gonna feel a little bit strange. So I want you to have your hands in this number 11 shape and then feel like you were drawing your navel in towards your spine, like you can have a puff of air come underneath your belly. And now stretch your belly forward, anchor your pubic bone, and then stretch it forward. Good. So we're gonna do that 3 times. It's a little pulsation for the back. Curl in on the inhale. And then exhale, stretch your belly forward. And do 2 more. Inhale, it's just this micro pulsation. And then exhale, stretch your low belly. 1 more. And this time, stay in a Sphinx Asana. Roll your left shoulder by your ear. Sorry, left ear towards your shoulder. And then tuck your chin in towards your chest. And then right ear towards your right shoulder. And then keep going. Relax your jaw. Unclench your teeth as you go from one side to the other. And then completely lower down. And swivel your palms underneath your forehead and then just rest here in a pranam, a full body bow. We'll be here for about 3 to 5 rounds of breath. Breathe into your lower back. And notice if you feel anything different in your low back from that Sphinx pulsation. That lower belly stretching is great for digestion as well. And take your time, peel your forehead up and slide your palms under your shoulders and tuck your toes. Press up through hands and knees or plank. If you're pressing up the plank, hug the elbows in and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze forward. And exhale, slowly make your way to the top of your space. Okay, so if you have a block handy, those of you at home, or a hardcover book, just make sure it's at the top of your mat so it's handy. We'll use it in a little bit. But for now, plant your hands down and step your left foot back behind you for a low lunge. This time, keep the back heel lifted. Bend into the right knee and gaze forward. When you're ready, sweep both arms up and overhead. And then exhale, draw your hands together in front of your heart. Okay, so now we're gonna do that same action of the hands. You can watch this first round. You're gonna inhale, lift your arms up above the crown of your head. And then exhale, push into your right foot. Start to straighten the right leg as the triangle of your hands push forward. We'll do this 3 times. Inhale, rebend the right knee and gaze up towards the base of your wrists. Then exhale, push forward. Your right leg does not have to be totally straight. 2 more. And 1 more. Since it's a slight balance challenge, see if you can gaze at a space in front of you that's not moving. This time as you exhale, pause. Release both hands down. Locate the block and then see if you can place it. Now, if you have one block, you might want it on the inside edge just to hold on to. The other hand can come on the top of your shin. From here, step your left foot forward about 1 footprint and then just start to hinge forward. So it looks like this if you've got one block. One hand on a block, one hand on your shin, and then just bow forward. So use your own body as stability here. The block underneath the left hand is more to elevate the ground, so it's a little bit higher, but of course you can just bring your finger pads down for this variation of a modified pyramid. Breathe into the back of your right leg. One more round of breath here. Okay, so now from here, gaze forward. So you're gonna take your block with you. You're gonna slowly start to turn your feet towards the side of your mat. And again, take the block with you. Toes turn towards the side of your mat. Place your hands in front of you. Again, block and just come off to the side for the moment. Pull your tailbone back and the crown of your head forward. Feet parallel to one another. Then exhale, bend your elbows and fold forward. Gaze behind you for a wide-legged forward fold. Perhaps walking the hands in line with the feet. Take another round of breath or two here. Walk your hands forward, gaze forward. Now, we're going to do that exact sequence, but you're now going to turn to a low lunge position on your left. So you're facing Colfax or away from the screen. So slowly turn so that your left foot is now in front, right leg behind, low lunge facing away from me. Make sure your block is just handy in case you think you'll need it. Inhale, sweep both arms up and overhead. And then exhale, bring your palms to touch in front of your heart. Now you know this movement. I know you can't see me. Inhale, lift your prayer up. Exhale, push into your left foot. Start to straighten the left leg. Triangle of your hands, push forward. Beautiful. Do 2 more like this. Moving slowly, there's no rush. 1 more. Now just release your hands, locate the block, and just start to bring your finger pads down. Step your right foot in about a footprint so you feel less like you're about to do a split. And then just adjust your block to support you to elevate the ground, perhaps a palm on the left shin, and then bow forward on your left leg. So this is a modified pyramid, so no need to force the right heel down. This is more just an extension or the lengthening in the back of the left leg. Good. Take your time, gaze forward. And again, you can take the block with you if you'd like, and just turn your feet towards the side of your mat space. Okay, one last action before we come to a seat. Gaze forward. So keep your legs wide, and you can just take a peek at the front of the room or the screen. Walk your hands forward as far as they'll go, as if you were coming into downward facing dog, but your legs are still wide. Good. Spread through your fingers. As you inhale, start to shift your weight forward till your shoulders are about over your wrists. And then exhale, push your butt back. Come onto the heels. And then breathe into your sitting bones, spread them wide. Inhale, shift forward. And then exhale, push your butt back. So do this a couple of times. Don't worry about how much you're shifting forward and back. Just do this by feel. 1 more. Hopefully you feel this in the space where your hamstrings and glutes meet. Inhale, come into that traditional prasarita, walking the hands underneath the shoulders, and then heel toe your feet towards one another. And then come to a seat on your mat. And so actually, we're gonna do one last little option, okay? So make sure you pad your knees and you're gonna come to a kneeling position, and you guys can face the front of the room here. I'm just gonna face here so that people behind the screen can see. So you're gonna tuck your toes and you're gonna come back into that kneeling position from earlier. So this is the last little engagement shape, okay? Knees about hips width distance apart. You're gonna take your hands and just cup them like this, almost like they were curled in, and then draw your hands in front of your navel. Navel draws in towards your spine, and then sit up tall, okay? So with your toes tucked, keep drawing your navel in, and you're gonna start pressing the back of your head back. So start to lean back slightly, and then press yourself up. You should feel that engagement along the fronts of your legs. So do this a couple of times. You're gonna feel like you're pulsing a lot more than you actually are, but that's fine. That core engagement is key. Okay, so the next time you pulse yourself up, I'd like you to pause. So now you've got a couple of options. You can keep going with that pulsation. You can just get off this bus and stop. Or you can, the next time you lean back, just watch me first, pause, and then start to lower one hand down towards your heel. See if you can reach it, and then the other. Okay, roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades hug towards the spine, and then pull your heart forward, chin pulls forward. If this is not working, take your hands to fists behind your sacrum, and then push your pubic bone and your pelvis forward. And then slowly come up. And let's get out of that shape. Plant your palms down and swivel your heels wide. So lots of options for camel Ustrasana. Okay. All right. So feet about hips width distance apart and parallel. Take your hands behind you. Okay, so the fingertips are going to face towards you. Wrists underneath shoulders. Bend your elbows slightly. So kind of slump your shoulders forward. Now roll your shoulders up by your ears and back. You're seeing a pattern today. Press down into your palms, straighten your arms, and pull your heart forward. You should feel that stretch all along your arms. Pelvis tilts forward. And then exhale, slump the shoulders forward and just round. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, push, lengthen, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push. And exhale, relax. Now you can do that 1 more time, that exact thing, and hold it. Or as you roll the shoulders back, press down into your feet and your palms and maybe lift your hips up in line with your knees. For reverse tabletop, make sure you stare at a space slightly in front of you, maybe slightly up, never behind you. Relax your jaw. And slowly lower your hips down. Great. Walk your heels forward slightly, but keep your knees bent. Okay, so now you're gonna lower down onto your forearms behind you, like this. Okay, almost like you were lounging at a beach, okay? So now, see if you can keep your forearms parallel-ish with the palms down, fingers spread wide. Anchor your heels down. Slump the shoulders forward. Just relax. Now you're gonna do that same thing. Roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades hugging towards your spine, and pull your heart forward. See if you can stretch out from your belly. And exhale, relax. So now this is for the tops of the shoulders. Hopefully you just felt that. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Gaze forward and up. And then exhale, relax. And now 1 last time, and now you have this opportunity to hold it. Anchor the heels down. Broaden through your collarbones. Beautiful. Relax. Press up onto your palms. Keep your legs exactly as they are. Sit up tall, and then just shimmy your sitting bones back. So your feet are still going to be anchored the way that they are. Keep a slight bend of your knees, and then just start to walk your hands forward towards your feet, maybe beyond. I want you to imagine that your heart and your toes are pulling towards one another. Stretch forward, and now bow. Breathe into the backs of your legs. Create some space and softness in your lower back, your upper back. And slowly walk your hands towards you and come up to sitting. And so before you guys come all the way down, I want you just to see what this looks like, okay? So we're gonna take the block. This is actually why we have the block. And you're gonna lay down. Your feet are gonna be in a constructive rest to start with the knees together. And you're gonna place the block underneath your head as if it were a pillow, okay? If you have a hardcover book at home, just make sure that the spine of the book is where the edge of the block is. The edge of the block is gonna come right around your hairline, right here. And you're gonna lay back on it like if it were a pillow. kind of like this, at the lowest setting we always start with, okay? So go ahead and situate yourself. The edge of the block right around your hairline. Feet in a constructive rest, and make sure that your whole spine has lengthened down. So this should feel mostly relaxing, maybe a little bit of pressure. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to step this up a bit, but for now, let's just rest. Usually my classes have a little theme that weaves through. This theme is all over the place. We are doing neck and jaw, shoulders, core, and side body. Start to slow your breath down. And so this might be enough for you. And you know this because your body knows. You might already feel some of this sensation, especially if your neck is a little bit tight. If you're feeling nothing at all, as if you could just fall asleep because there's no sensation, listen carefully. One hand is going to cup the back of your head to lift it up. The other hand will adjust the block to the medium setting. And again, please go slow. Once you have adjusted the block, I'd like you to be very careful about how you're situating your head here. I like to hold the block almost like a sandwich. Make sure the block is super steady. And from here, you should automatically notice something, that the side of the block is massaging the base of your head, the occipital lobe, that ridge. And then with the base of your block secure, now you can start to lower your chin towards the notch in between your collarbones. If you're still not feeling a ton, slowly, and I mean really slowly, start to nod your head no. This gentle sway will start to relax all of those ridges, those bones behind the back of your neck, the back of your head. Keep relaxing through your chest and your low belly. We'll be here for about 10 or so rounds of breath. And as you release this point of tension, notice what that does to all the muscles in your face, especially around your forehead and your cheekbones. So now take the next round of breath or two to complete wherever you are. And to come out of this, you're gonna just really slowly cup the back of your head, slide your block off to the side, and let the back of your head rest down. Notice what the back of your neck feels like here. And we'll close with just a simple supine twist. So just heel toe your feet towards one another and lower your knees to the left, hips stacked. Roll your right shoulder back. And if you're craving a little bit of a deeper twist, you can always cross your right leg over your left. And take your time. Lift your knees up and make your way to the other side. If you want a little bit more space, you can always adjust your hips, scooting it over to one side. It's up to you. Pin the bottom knee if you'd like, or not. And slowly come up when you're ready. Adjust your legs, hips in the middle of your mat. And use the strength of your low belly to pull your thighs in. Wrap your hands around your shins. Anchor your low back down. You can stay here compressing your low belly or reach for the outsides of your feet for happy baby. Flex your toes towards you. Release your feet and curl in. Peel the back of your head up and bring your nose towards your kneecaps and take a huge breath in here. And as you exhale, release for Shavasana. Extend one leg out at a time. Your arms can rest by your sides or on your body. Prioritize broadening through your collarbones, softening the tops of your shoulders away from your earlobes. Take up space on your mat. Allow your whole body to relax. Allow yourself to breathe here, and I'll call you back momentarily. So you can keep your body relaxed and your eyes closed. Notice the surging flow of breath as it pours into your chest and belly. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch your arms up and overhead. Gather your knees in towards your chest and roll to one side. And just pause here in a fetal position. Press your palms into the earth and come up to sitting. Once you're seated, swivel your hands on top of your heart. Swabhava Mudra. Hook the thumbs. And spread your fingers across your chest. Breathe into the base of your hands. And as we bow our head towards our heart, we honor one another. When you're ready, lift your gaze.